Hey guys, welcome to Smart Traffic Live. I'm Allie Bloyd, and my presentation today is going to be the 4 pillars of paid social success for local businesses. So, why do local businesses need to leverage social media and more specifically paid ads on social in 2020? There are a variety of reasons, but number one, you need to be marketing aggressively if you want to stay relevant. You're also in a local community where building relationships are very important, and I think there's no better way than social media to develop that trust, that sense of credibility, and really connect with your audience on a different level. So very quickly, who am I? I'm Allie Bloyd, founder of Allie Bloyd Media. We are a marketing agency and consultancy for local businesses. I've been lucky enough to work with local businesses for the past 8 years. 5 of those, I was actually the marketing director for several large local businesses. So I really have a very clear idea of what will work and what will not work to drive leads and drive foot traffic or even awareness for a local business like yours. I was able to win a ClickFunnels 2 Comma Club award for a local business, and I've also been lucky enough to be a contributor for Digital Marketer, Social Media Examiner, and I'll be speaking about local business marketing at Social Media Marketing World 2020 in San Diego. So how does this apply to you? Well, if you're watching this, then you are likely a local business owner. And unfortunately, there is not a ton of information out there that's been designed specifically for you. There's tons of information for online businesses, e-commerce businesses, coaches, but when it comes to actual local marketing strategy, there's almost a void in the marketplace. So I want to make sure you have a very clear picture of what you can do to succeed. You also don't want to become irrelevant in your community. If you have a local business, you've worked hard to build that business up, and you want to make sure that you're going to be there for years to come and that you're front and center in the minds of the consumers in your community. Maybe what you're doing right now is working just fine, but you feel like it could be working better. Potentially what you're doing is working really well now, but it could stop working so well in the future. So this is something you should always have in your arsenal when the time is right. I see no better time than right now. This is a great way to do everything your business needs to do to increase your revenue through social media marketing. You also really have to be aware of the competition in your marketplace. Not only is there other local businesses just like yours in your community, you're also competing against online or e-commerce businesses in many industries, and there are big corporations that have massive marketing budgets, and you've got to find a way to stand out. A lot of those big businesses are not doing this type of marketing, so it becomes an amazing way to really set yourself apart. So today we're talking about those 4 pillars of social success. And what are those pillars? So number 1, the right strategy. Number 2, the right offer. Number 3, the right content. And number 4, the right follow-up. If you can get these 4 things right, I can guarantee that you're going to see the results that you're looking for with your paid ads on Facebook, Instagram, or even other social media platforms. So pillar number 1, the right strategy. This is crucial. If you don't have these things set up, you're not going to really be able to plan effectively for the rest of the steps. So what are your goals? What's your budget going to be? Where are you going to show up? And what are those ad sequences that you're going to present to your audience for maximum effect? So your goals are very, very important to establish early on. Is your goal to drive leads? Is it to get purchases? Is it foot traffic? Or maybe it's just brand awareness. You also really want to understand, what is a lead to you? Many people mistake a lead as a sale, and a lead is only the beginning of the process. This is simply someone who has raised their hand and self-identified as being interested in what you have to offer. There are many steps after that need to be taken to ensure that you can turn that lead into a client or customer. And we're going to talk about those today. You also want to make sure that your goals are realistic. I see this a lot, and if you have unrealistic expectations, even if your strategy is working well, you may not realize it, and you could potentially stop something that is actually benefiting your business. So make sure that those goals and those expectations are very clearly set from the beginning. What do you hope to see? And don't base that on a gut feeling or a wish or a desire. Base it on actual numbers. So you want to know, what is going to define success to you? Is it going to be the number of leads that come in? Is it going to be the number of clicks to your website? Is it going to be the number of people that walk through your door if you are a brick and mortar business? So based on what those things are, you're going to have very specific KPIs that you need to be paying attention to. We'll talk about what some of those would be for the various types of campaigns that you can run, but a lot of times I see people putting up ads and they have no real idea of, number one, what their goals are, but two, what their KPIs are. If you're trying to really define success by the reach of your ads, that is typically not what you should be looking for. If you are having a foot traffic strategy and you're defining success by engagement, it could potentially be helping, but that's really not what you need to be looking at. You want to make sure that your tracking and attribution are very clear so that you can make realistic decisions based on data, and again, not just on your gut feelings. We want to make educated decisions on what ads to scale, what ads to stop, and what things that need to be continually tested. So what platforms are going to make sense for you? We're going to be talking specifically about Facebook and Instagram ads today, and that's because I feel like there are very few businesses that these platforms are not a good fit for. There are billions of people on these platforms, and I don't care what the size of your local community is, there is going to be a large chunk of your ideal buyers on Facebook and Instagram. The question is, how are you going to reach them, and how are you going to drive them to take the action you want them to take? So there are a lot of different ways to market your business in 2020, but I feel like Facebook and Instagram ads are a necessity for every business. You can reach the people you're trying to reach and develop that relationship and that two-way communication while you're at it. I also want you to think about omnipresence, and this doesn't mean you have to be everywhere, but it does mean that you need to be hitting people from a variety of angles. So you may have a larger marketing budget and you're doing TV advertising or radio advertising or trade shows or direct mail. This needs to be a complement, but also a core part of that strategy. However, it's not going to end there. You want to focus on your email marketing, text message marketing. Any type of touch point that's going to increase frequency is something that you have to focus on in 2020 because consumers are now more savvy. The immediate direct response marketing does not work exactly the way that it used to. You have to get in front of people multiple times in order for them to trust you enough to make that buying decision. So number one, what is your marketing budget? So overall, establish what your company's marketing budget will be. There is no one right answer. The range is between 3% and even up to 12% of revenue on your marketing. That can depend on how aggressively you want to grow, if you are a new company or an established company. But first identify, what is our overall marketing budget? Base that on actual facts. Again, everything should be based on real facts and real data. Then you're also going to want to pull all the information you have on cost per lead, cost per acquisition, and those very critical numbers that are going to guide you through this strategy. What is your customer lifetime value? What is your conversion rate from a lead to a sale? Those numbers are going to heavily dictate what you should be budgeting on this type of marketing based on what you expect to see. So again, setting those goals is crucial because if I want to see 200 leads coming in per month, well, I can't just throw a dollar amount and say, this is our budget and I expect 200 leads. I need to know this is our typical cost per lead. I may not have that data from Facebook and Instagram yet, but that's a great place for me to start. how much money will I then have to spend theoretically to be able to get 200 leads? So again, make sure it's really based on facts. If you don't have those numbers yet, that needs to be a top priority for you, because it's going to be very difficult for you to make educated decisions without that type of information. Your cost per acquisition is also a really strong number to know, because you will be tracking that throughout this process if you're really serious about maximizing your return on investment. So the next thing you need to talk about is, are you going to have a testing budget? When you first get started on Facebook or Instagram, or if you've already been advertising, you need to test. There is no one-size-fits-all method. There are different audiences and different markets that respond to different things. And again, you don't want to drag out the process of finding out what they're responding to. You want to find that out as quickly as possible. Most importantly, find out what's not working and stop doing that. This is going to save you a lot of money long term. It's going to save you time, and it's going to expedite the success that you're going to see. You also want to understand, is your offer proven? So I work with a lot of local businesses who don't even have an offer, but if you do, has this offer been proven to work? If it does, that's something that you can factor in to the budget, because you already have a good idea of what may work for your audience. Then next, do you have an audience? Do you have an email list? Do you have an engagement audience? Are your list of past customers, is that pretty extensive? Because those things are going to help you. And if you do have those things, again, something to factor in, and it will play a part in the results that you'll see early on. If you do not have an audience, you need to understand that you are essentially the new kid on the block. Whether you're just a business that's never done a lot of advertising, or you're a newer business, people don't know you yet. So you have to be realistic in the time that it's going to take them to be aware of you, number one, and also to buy from you. The next thing you really want to take into account is your buying cycle for your audience. So we're going to be talking about something called the local buying cycle sequence. This is what I use to craft the types of ads that we would be showing to a local audience for any industry or any market. The most important thing to think about right off the bat is, how long is your buying cycle? There are some businesses that have very short buying cycles. For instance, if you are an emergency restoration and water cleanup company, that's something that it happens, you need someone right away. You're going to be making a very quick decision about the company that you hire. The strategy that you would need to build around that is going to be significantly different than something that takes a long time to think about. Things that are higher ticket, they naturally tend to have a longer buying cycle. That's not always the case, but that usually is a pretty good gauge. There are some statistics out there that say that it can take, for any business, up to 2 years for someone to make that buying decision. There's a small percentage of people that are going to make that decision within the first 3 months, but there is a much more significant portion that is going to make that purchase, but they do it over the next 2 years. If you don't know how long it's taking your audience to make these decisions, you're not going to have a good plan in place that follows them through the length of the buying cycle. And that's very important. If you are a business that it could take someone up to 2 years to decide, you can't expect results right away or a return on investment specifically. So you may see results, you may get leads, you may get foot traffic, but if you're looking for an immediate return, you're not being realistic. So this is a very important thing to know, and if you don't know, you absolutely need to find out. This is something that's going to affect your retargeting strategy, something that's going to affect your email strategy, and your manual follow-up. So please be crystal clear about this. So this is overall the awareness levels of making a buying decision. You've got the top of the funnel, which is simply being aware of either a problem or a business or a product. Then you're going to start to develop interest. Then it's going to lead you into the decision-making process, and finally the purchase. There is no one length of time that people make these decisions, so you need to know exactly how long your ideal client is taking. If you need to pull past customers or simply pull past data on the time that someone reached out to you versus the time that they purchased, pull as many of those as you can, and you will start to see a pattern, or at bare minimum, an average on that. So this is what I call the local buying cycle sequence. So again, we've got that overall awareness level, but these are even more in depth about the way that you need to approach your audience. Most businesses never consider that there are people who may need them, but they don't even know they have a problem. That happens more often than you would think. So you've got the problem unaware level. Then you have the problem aware level. They know they have a problem. You've got a solution aware. They know there is a solution to their problem. Finally, your solution aware, which means they're aware of your specific business, and then they're going to make the decision to purchase. The goal is for us to funnel people from the top to the bottom and walk them through these different levels via our content and our ads. So on the left side, you'll see the traffic temperatures. We've got cold traffic, warm traffic, and hot traffic. Those three traffic temperatures all need to be approached differently. The types of messaging, the types of content, and the types of ads that you're sending these people are going to be significantly different. So for the most part, a cold audience is either going to be problem unaware or problem aware. Your warm audience tends to be solution aware and you're solution aware. And finally, your hot audience, they've either already purchased or they're ready to buy. So if you're not familiar with these different traffic temperatures, essentially cold traffic, they are people who don't know who you are. They've never engaged with you. They're not familiar with you. They have no trust with you. Then you've got your warm audience. These are people who do know who you are. They have engaged with you. There's already more of a relationship started there. And your hot audience is going to be someone who has purchased from you in the past, or maybe someone who has reached out and inquired. They could be a past lead, anyone who is very close to the business or is close to making that buying decision. You could define these slightly differently based on the type of business that you have, but overall, that's how I establish the different levels. The majority of your leads are going to come from warm and hot traffic. The goal has to be to turn cold traffic, which is essentially everyone when you first get started with this type of advertising. You want to turn them from cold traffic into warm traffic, into hot traffic. So we've got a much larger audience at the top, and we just want to make it smaller and smaller by identifying the best prospects and the people who are most interested today. Finally, on the right side, you see these different ad levels. So these are the different levels of ads that we create or that we teach people to create that correspond with not only the awareness levels and the buying cycle, but the traffic temperatures. So ad level number 1, that is the educate level. This is a really amazing place to be because with the right type of ads and content, you are going to be able to make a big impact and develop a very large warm audience on social media. Then the second level is the offer level. We're really focused on conversions here, and we want to make sure that we're either getting subscribers or getting leads or getting someone to claim our offer or say that they're going to come in to our physical location. And finally, our retargeting level. This level is people typically from that offer level that have not converted yet, or even potentially people who have converted that you want to continue to show your ads to in an effort to solidify that you are the best choice in their mind, that this was a good decision, or that you want to overcome the objections that they may have to actually taking that next step. All three levels are essential. I have come across very, very few local businesses that don't need these three levels. So what happens a lot of times is that businesses will do one level, maybe things aren't working the way they want them to work, and then they feel like the whole system isn't working. So maybe they're just putting out good content and they're wondering why they're not seeing a lot of leads. Well, This level isn't necessarily designed to get leads. It can, but they're not going to be super consistent, and that's really not even the focus of the ads themselves. A lot of other businesses, they simply are doing this offer level, but they're sending it to all cold traffic. They have no audience building strategy. So everyone that's seeing their offer is really unfamiliar with who they are, meaning it's going to be a pretty hard sell to get them to take that next step. So in this buying cycle sequence, there's different types of audiences and different types of goals. For our cold traffic, those are things like saved audiences, lookalike audiences, or maybe some type of behavioral targeting. The goal is really to get them to engage with you, get them to click to your website or view a video. The warm traffic audience, this is going to be someone who has engaged with you. So like an engagement audience of your Facebook page or Instagram page, people who viewed your videos, people who have gone to your website. The goal at this level is to get a subscriber, get someone to convert, or get them to visit. Hot traffic, this is going to be potentially your email list, your list of past buyers, and people who are currently leads. The goal at this level is to upsell, cross-sell, or again, validate that decision that is going to help them follow through and ultimately purchase from you. Because 9 times out of 10, if you're a local business, your actual transaction is happening offline. So we can't let them go the moment they sign up. There are still steps they need to take. For most of us, it's getting them on a phone call or getting them to an appointment of some sort or bringing them in our location. We have to make sure that the lead is not wasted, that we get them to follow through with that. And there are several amazing ways that you can continue to retarget those people to maximize the dollars that you're spending. So visually, let's take a look at this. Cold traffic, warm traffic, hot traffic. The goal is to funnel them through each level. The ad level is going to be different. So cold traffic, we're educating. Warm traffic, we're trying to offer something, get them to convert. Hot traffic, retargeting. And then finally, the goal. So cold traffic, you want to segment the audience based on what they engage with. So your content should be very tailored to the products and services that you offer. And if you do this in an education-based way, you're going to really see who is very interested, who is moderately interested, and what topics or services or products they're most interested in. For instance, if you have a blog and it's on a certain question that someone would have before purchasing a product that you offer, if someone clicks on that blog, they're raising their hand and saying, I have an interest in this because I'm considering this. Even if they don't read that blog, they've still allowed you to segment them based on their interest. The next ad they should receive should be directly tied to that product that they showed interest in. So again, not just building an audience of people who like your funny cat video. It needs to be so tied to your products and services that it allows you to send those targeted ads that are going to be more successful. By doing this, you are creating this smaller audience of people that you can show your offers to, but essentially you can do that at a lower cost because they've already signified that they have an interest in this. If you're trying to send those offers directly to cold traffic, it's going to be far more expensive and a lot more inconsistent than using this strategy, and ultimately it may not work at all moving forward. So warm traffic, simple, we want them to convert on our core offer. And hot traffic, we want to ascend them. So either ascend them to an actual client or customer, or to someone who's buying more, someone who's buying more frequently, or buying a variety of products and services that we offer. So where are you going to focus first? Okay, this is something that a lot of people are confused about. They spend their time worrying about tweaking and optimizing the wrong things. So number one, if this is the main source of traffic that you're getting, without clicks on your ad, you can't convert anyone. So that's where you have to start first, getting your ad to actually produce the results that you want, whether that's engagement, video views, or clicks to your landing page, clicks on your form, clicks to Messenger, whatever that goal is or that destination is, but you can't convert without the traffic. Hence the name Smart Traffic Live. The traffic is so important. So you want to test those ads before you worry about testing your destination. You do want to think about where are you going to send them and why. So there are different types of audiences that respond better to different destinations. There's some markets that I've seen that love Messenger. They respond very well to Messenger, and there are some that they don't. They're a little confused on how to use it. Maybe it's not as commonplace in that market. So you really want to think about, okay, is this something that's fairly common for us, or is it going to be a stretch to get our audience to sign up through Messenger? Sometimes you would want to send them to just a booking link. If this is something where you feel like you can get that actual commitment, either for a call or for an appointment, you could absolutely send them directly to that link. Sometimes you may want to test lead forms. There's definitely some do's and don'ts with lead forms. They can generate more leads. Sometimes the information is not always accurate, and sometimes they can be a little lower quality. There are ways to absolutely maximize them and increase the quality, but that is something you want to think about. If you don't have strong follow-up systems, lead forms may not be the best option for you. So thinking about why you're sending them to the place you're sending them, and then figuring out how you're going to optimize that when you start to generate traffic. Then in this order, these are the things I typically would test. Your offer first, then your audience, your copy, your creative, and finally your destination. So pillar number 2, the right offer. Okay, the right audience will never buy the wrong offer. So it doesn't matter how good your audience targeting is. It doesn't matter how good your copy and your creative and your destination are. It matters that the offer is something that people actually want. And this is a big problem that I've seen in the local market, that they don't really think about offers in the way that online businesses do. Online businesses have kind of naturally been programmed to think about the offer number 1. And for a local business, they need the same thing. It may be different than what you would see from an online business, but the offer is what's going to attract your ideal prospect or client. So what exactly is an offer? There's a lot of misconceptions about what an offer actually is. I hear time and time again that people assume an offer is strictly a discount. And while that can be true, that is in no way the only thing that it can be. So the 3 offer types you need. Number 1, gated content offers. So this is something valuable that you're going to exchange for their information. This is your traditional lead magnet. It could be delivered through Messenger or a landing page. It could be a video, but you're building your list, and if done correctly, you're also going to use that to drive leads. A loss leader can be an amazing type of offer, and I rarely see businesses using these. So a loss leader is something useful, but incomplete. It should lead into the core offer. It also could get people in at that right moment in the buying cycle. Typically, it could be free, or it's going to break even in terms of cost, whether it's your time, materials, or a mixture of both. You don't have to be losing money on this, but the goal is not to make money. The thing about marketing in today's world on social media is that you may truthfully need a loss leader to capitalize on your budget. There are a lot of businesses who have a very strong lifetime value, but instead they're focusing on making their money back on that initial purchase. But that's not where you should be focusing. You want to turn someone into a lifelong customer, or at least someone who's with you for a significant amount of time, someone who could buy other products or other services. So this is a really good one, and I'd encourage you to explore it for your own business, because I've seen them work very, very well, but too many people do not ever consider using them. Then you're going to have your product preview offer. This is really something that doesn't have any value unless someone intends to buy. This gives them a little taste of your business. Sometimes it could be an added value after they purchase, but essentially there's just nothing really that they would be interested in unless they were seriously considering your core offer. So what are a few examples of these different types of offers? For gated content, there's 1,000,001 examples, but a few of them would be a checklist, a template, a quiz, just a very simple list. It could be an ebook or a white paper, a lot of different things. And I would really say start with something that's more simple because you are going to need to test this. Just because you put out a gated content offer doesn't mean it's what your audience wants. So unless you have something that's historically proven to really resonate with your audience, it's just one more thing you have to test. Start simple, and then you could work your way up if you need to, but a lot of times the more simple gated content offers work the best. Checklists are awesome. I love using quizzes. Templates can be great. So the list, checklist, quiz, and template, those are probably my 4 favorites. The ebook is something that a lot more people are familiar with, but I wouldn't start there because it is going to take you a lot more time to develop, and you simply don't know if it's going to work. You also don't know if they're going to consume that content, which really should be the focus of this type of offer. So for your loss leader, this could be something like purchase 1 for X amount of dollars. So that would be a good offer for something that people don't normally buy just one. They buy a group of things, but you're going to give that discount on just one product. You bring them in on that one product, then you're going to get them to buy the rest of their products with you. So this could be a free or discounted first step. So for instance, if your industry has a very clear entry point of when someone becomes a good potential client, that's a great step to discount. So for instance, one of the students in my program is a wedding photographer. He also does lifestyle family photography and engagement photos. An amazing loss leader for him is to have a discounted engagement photo session. The reason for this is that for most people, their engagement photos may be the very first time they've had professional photography done, but it leads into so many other opportunities. So you get those engagement photos done, then you get your wedding photos done, maybe maternity photos, newborn photos, then you're going to get yearly family photos. There's so many opportunities after that, and this is the moment essentially when a great potential new client is created. So if he can get in with them on that first step, even if that's not his core service, he wants to sell the wedding photography, but the engagement photography is his way in with the new client. He can develop the relationship, show them what he can do, and essentially work with them forever if it's a good fit. So it's an amazing thing to try and think about. Where is that first step that my target clientele is becoming a better customer? So a free or discounted introductory offer. Another example would be a laundry delivery service that I'm working with. So they need a good offer. Laundry is something that people need every single week for the rest of their life. So huge lifetime value there. Loss leaders can work really well for people who have great lifetime value or are really good at upselling. So they have either a variety of levels of their product or service, or they have just a variety of products and services to offer. So for them, we don't want someone to just try them once. Okay, we want them to try them for an entire month, 4 different times, so that they can become really excited at the prospect of never having to do this again. It takes several times for people to build a habit, especially if this is a continuity offer. So their offer can be 50% off your first month of laundry delivery. If they were to offer your first load free, could it work in bringing leads in? Absolutely. But is that going to be the right offer to keep them long term? You're not showing them how much of a difference this is making in their life by just one time. For restaurants, oftentimes they're giving out, 3 different vouchers or coupons. One could be for your entree, one could be for your dessert, one could be for a drink, one could be for an appetizer even. And the goal is to get someone to come back 3 to 4 times because you're establishing a great long-term customer at that point. So an event is also an amazing loss leader. It's kind of a mixture of all 3 of them, to be honest, but I have loved using live local events for businesses. And this is really based on education for the most part. So it's not like a celebration event or a grand opening. This is an educational seminar. So some of the information you develop in your gated content offer could be something that you teach at a live event. It's going to bring people to you, so you are giving your time for free, and that's really where the loss leader part of it comes in. You are probably going to be buying some food, maybe some gift bags, but you are bringing in your ideal clients to your physical location. You're eliminating some of the time that it might take to follow up with all those people because you have them right here in front of you at once, and you can absolutely close a lot of sales from events like those. So if you've never considered that, I'd highly encourage it. It's one of my absolute favorite offers for local businesses, and with the right system, they can be easy breezy and produce consistent results repeatedly. A product preview offer, this is something that most people have. This will be a free estimate, free consultation. It could be financing or a payment plan, which can be a really good one. It could be a time-based incentive. So if you think about it, if there is a certain product or service that traditionally has a longer time associated with it, so think about like a remodeler, then giving someone that bathroom remodel in 1 week instead of 1 month, that's a great offer. It has nothing to do with price. It has to do with time. So if you have a business that in any way could benefit your client by expediting the timeline, you could consider that as your offer. It could be a bonus with your purchase, or it could be a bundle. So I love using creative packages and bundles for different businesses. It could be product-based or service-based. People love to feel like they're either getting a deal by bundling things together, or they simply love the convenience of doing that, because a lot of times you don't have to discount that at all. You're just packaging something in a way that's unique that drives people to want to buy from you over someone else. So good offers overcome. They overcome the objections. That's going to be competition, money, time or effort, skill, simplicity, or convenience. So for instance, if what you offer has skill attached to it, then your offer could include something like training, support to make those things easier. Convenience, that could be a bundle. You're saving time from someone having to research and find all of these different parts and pieces themselves. You're giving it to them at once. Time and effort, kind of like we just talked about. Money is an obvious one, but really think about where your audience is struggling and what your offer can do to overcome their biggest challenges. Your offer matters, okay? This is not just a discount. It needs to incentivize buyers either to act at all or act now. You don't have to come up with a false sense of urgency, but anytime there is some sense of urgency attached, it's going to work well. This could be a natural sense of urgency. So that's for something like an event. There is a exact date that this is happening, so you can promote a sense of urgency. Maybe it's based on a holiday. There are a lot of different ways that you could use that. I don't ever encourage anyone to be dishonest, but that can be a great way to get people to act quicker. Creative packages, payment plans, or financing. If you have high ticket, it is an amazing way to have a great offer without even really doing anything different other than coming up with some creative options for your clients. Valuable content, anything that's going to provide a lot of value. That's like the educational events or seminars. You want to make sure it addresses objections. It could be a special discount or promotion, and it could offer individual support like I discussed. So if you're a gym, it could be personal training sessions. It could be something that is a one-on-one tutoring, or where you're going to walk through this new product or program with someone so that they better understand it and they're going to get more value from it. So pillar number 3, the right content. So again, step number 1 is to build your audience. You want to take this cold traffic, turn them into hot traffic or warm traffic. And the best way to do that is with the right content plan. It's going to build that audience and segment fast. So a successful content plan is based on educated content. It's what you know your audience needs. This is not spur of the moment, and it really needs to address those challenges, those objections, those most frequently asked questions, or even educate them on things that they don't know yet, but does build that sense of credibility and trust with your business. It needs to leverage the buying cycle. So there are topics that would be associated with each of those levels that we discussed: product or problem unaware, problem aware, solution aware, your solution aware, and actually buying. Different people, when they're in those different stages, they're asking different questions. They're interested in different things. No one's interested in the features of your product or service if they don't even know they have a problem. So make sure that it's very tailored to that cycle so that you know what to give people and at what time they should want it. So it's going to turn that cold audience into a warm audience. It's going to segment them, as we already discussed, and this is going to lower your cost per lead or cost per acquisition. You are spending more money on this different type of ad, but it's not increasing your cost. It's reducing your cost because you're getting that frequency up, you're getting that trust, you're getting people to really understand what you're about, so they're going to be more receptive to your offer. So a few types of content. Video is my absolute favorite. If you can do video, and you should, this is what you should do. This could be pre-recorded, or it could be a Facebook or Instagram live. You could give them on-platform education, so that could be educational social media posts or valuable social media posts or messenger sequences. You could give them some type of low barrier education, meaning it doesn't take a ton for them to get it or consume it. That could be a blog, download, a lead magnet. Then you've got high barrier education like events, trainings, and webinars. So the right content is going to inspire your audience to buy or to become interested in something. It really needs to tune into their why. You don't just want to speak about what you sell. Everyone has an internal reason for wanting to do something. If we were to go back to the laundry delivery service example, no one buys that service because they just want to outsource their laundry. They buy it because they want to spend more time with the people they love. They want to spend more time doing the things that they love. They want to be able to have a life that has more freedom and not constant responsibilities and obligations that they don't technically have to do at the end of the day. That is what is going to inspire the audience to buy. It's not, we do this many loads with this detergent, with this fabric softener. Those are not the things the audience cares about. Speak to their why and you will create buyers. So you want to give them educational resources that are going to help them decide. So this versus that, pros and cons. Those have always been really powerful, especially if there's a lot of options in your market. And you want to give them videos that could either educate, entertain, demonstrate, really showcase that you are a knowledge powerhouse. I have never seen that as a negative for any business. Everyone wants to know that they're buying from someone who knows what the heck they're talking about. You need video, okay? Plain and simple, like I just discussed. If you can do video, and I don't think there's many reasons why you shouldn't be able to do it, you need to do this, okay? It is the single cheapest way to build your audience. Facebook is going to allow more people essentially to see that than if you were to try and ask for conversions. And it's not necessarily because videos cost less than a conversion ad, but they know that their audience likes video. They simply allow that to go farther at the end of the day. If it's a good video, if people are engaging, they want to let it get farther. So do yourself a favor and go ahead and start getting some video content. Especially if you have no audience, this is the fastest way to get it. If you look at a blog, a social media post, and a video, in terms of what you could see for costs, you may see on a really good day, a 30-cent cost per click for a blog. You could see maybe an 8-cent, 5-cent cost per engagement on a post, which is a kind of a lower level engagement. Getting someone to your site is definitely valuable. But on a video, you could see a 1-cent or 2-cent video view. You're also going to be able to put that person who watches a video into your custom audience for a year. That's just going back to our 2-year timeline example, if someone could potentially take 2 years to make a decision from the first time it enters their mind, you want to be in front of them as long as possible. By using video, you actually have a way to retarget them for longer, even if they never engage with another piece of your content for a year. This also puts a face to the name of your brand, and that's powerful. You're in a local community. You want to be seen as a real person, not just this faceless business. So show some personality and really let people know who you are. This is also the quickest way to develop a relationship. Again, personality, feeling like they know you before they've ever met you. Quickest way to get your message consumed. You could say what you need to say in a video much quicker than you could ever say it in a blog or in a post. So go ahead and use that video to get that message out. It's going to segment the audience like we discussed. You could have 3 videos. Each of them is based on different products or services that you offer. You're going to serve the people who consume those different videos completely different ads. It also builds that trust and credibility. A few quick video tips. You just need to get started. You need to practice. It's going to make perfect. You want to try and use a script framework, but don't make it scripted. It needs to feel natural. You could write bullet points, tape them next to your screen just to give you a guideline. And I suggest putting a Post-it note over your phone if you're using your phone, because that's going to allow you to focus on the camera and not looking at yourself and feeling self-conscious. Short videos under a minute, that's what you can use on Facebook and Instagram. However, I've seen great success with longer form videos as long as the content is valuable. You also want to test a variety of content. Again, if your video is not good, maybe it doesn't perform like it should, but maybe a different topic would have done really well. So it's not video, it's your video sometimes. And I definitely suggest standing instead of sitting, because you do tend to have more energy and people can really kind of feel more engaged when you're standing up. Few quick tips. There are very simple apps that you can use to edit these videos. Okay, it does not have to be a big production. You could just straight up talk to the camera, you could interview someone, or you could walk through a space or a job or your store narrating from behind the scenes. You don't even have to be on camera to really make this work sometimes. There are a few things that you're going to want to have. A ring light is great, an external microphone, having a clean background space, and just energy and eye contact is really important. But other than that, just use your phone and get started. I suggest having a selfie stick with a Bluetooth remote on it that can also extend to a stand. So this image right over here, I like the ones that are about 59 inches, so it really is your portable phone tripod. Wherever you go, you can use this. Pillar 4. The right follow-up. This can make or break your strategy if you're going to be generating leads. Even if you're someone that is trying to drive foot traffic, you want to be able to continue to communicate with these people, keep them interested, get them in your custom audience so that you can essentially win the sale. So not all leads are ready to buy. We've already talked about this. There could be a 2-year period. Even if you're generating leads, there is a good portion that may be ready to go. There's 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, and 1 year plus. So don't have a short-term mindset. You need to be thinking long-term. If you have a brick and mortar business, give people in your store a reason to give you their email address. It could be when they buy, but even people that don't buy, I suggest having some sort of giveaway or contest. It doesn't have to be big, but they made a big step in coming in to where you are. You want to make sure you get them on your email list, get them in your custom audience. If you're generating leads, immediate follow-up is crucial. People get a lot of telemarketing calls, spam calls. People are not expecting you anymore if you wait too long, and this is a big mistake I see people making. So if you're going to take the time and money to do this, do it right. Follow up right away, but follow up consistently. Don't expect this to necessarily fall into your lap. You may need to work a little bit for it, and there are things that you can do with automation to make this an easier process, but you need to really give it your best effort and take responsibility for driving these sales that come from the leads that you can generate. Some follow-up essentials would be having a phone call script. We'll talk a little bit about this on the next slide, but you really want to make sure these things are systemized. Having great email sequences, Facebook Messenger sequences, having text message marketing. This is super powerful. Highly encourage it. Paired with lead forms, this is really very powerful because text messages are opened about 99% of the time. If it's a cell phone, they're going to, at bare minimum, see it, but it can be an amazing way to remind people about appointments they've set and follow up after appointments as well. So really, really strong. If you're not doing this, I highly recommend it. And then using something like voicemail drops and making sure that you have these things integrated with your CRM so that you can track it and you know exactly where your purchasing customers have come from. Leads and purchasing customers, two separate things. One ad that's producing most of the leads or the lowest cost leads may not be the ads that are producing the most paying customers. So be very intentional about tracking that so you can see the best return on investment. Phone call conversations, again, if you're getting people on the phone, this is critical. You really want to take control of the call and guide them to that next step. If they requested an appointment, go ahead and tell them, hey, what's a good time for you? Let's get it on the schedule. Don't let them control the conversation or you may end up not setting any type of appointment. You want to just simply have energy and enthusiasm, make them feel good. Even if they're not a good fit for you, it's never a good idea to make people feel like they're not worthy of your products or services, because in a local community, every interaction you have with someone is a potential referral or a potential negative review or feedback to someone that they know, or the opportunity to have a brand ambassador, even if they've never worked with you. So really see it that way. Every interaction matters. The more people you can meet with in person, the better you will do at the end of the day, because you'll really be able to understand what their wants and needs are on a different level. People always aren't willing to tell you that over the phone or in some type of form. So I do encourage you to take that step, meet with people in your community because you are a local business. And finally, how are you going to tie it all together? Okay, number one, map out your strategy. Do not go into this blindly. Have the right expectations. Focus first on creating a good offer and understanding that the first offer may not work perfectly. You need to have some backups to test. Focus on quality content. This is never a bad thing. You are going to be building a short-term gain, but a very long-term gain by doing this. You're going to lower that cost per lead or cost per acquisition. You're going to build that audience, which is going to allow you to succeed quicker. And then make sure that your follow-up systems are very strong and that you are tracking these things. It doesn't matter what results you're getting if you don't actually know what they are or where they're coming from. So make that a high priority. So the big question is, what do I see as being most important or very important in 2020 for local businesses to drive traffic and increase revenue? So YouTube ads, this is something that we've just started to get into. I'm very excited about it because I am passionate about video marketing, and this is just another great way to get those videos to the people who really want to see them. More video. So whether it's on social, whether it's on YouTube, whatever it is, video. Google local or Google My Business. This is very, very powerful for local businesses. So if you haven't started to optimize those pages or paid attention to it, you need to start now. This is where local buyers are finding most of their service providers or the stores that they're buying from. You want to make sure that you have a lot of touch points and that you're as omnipresent as possible. It can take between 20 and 30 touch points for someone to decide to buy. If you're expecting all of those touch points to happen on one platform, it may be difficult, but if you can get them on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and email and text message and at your local event, I mean, all of these things, they can add up really quickly, but you do need to be in a variety of places and not ever put all your eggs in one basket and expect one platform to be the only thing you need to succeed in your business. So I really hope you guys have enjoyed this today. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'm very passionate about helping local businesses figure this out or succeed. And I'd love to connect with you on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Those are kind of, my places. It's consistently Allie Bloyd, my name, and that's BLOYD, or Allie Bloyd Media. And if you are interested in learning about how I could work with your local businesses, I would love to invite you to book a call, and hopefully I'll talk to you soon. So thanks so much, and enjoy the rest of the presentations from Smart Traffic Live, and I am happy to have been able to serve you today.